Creative risk-taking, how to make art that scares you a little. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a piece of art that genuinely scared you a little? Not technically difficult, emotionally risky. The kind of work where you weren't sure if it would land, weren't sure what people would think, weren't even sure you could pull it off. If you have to think hard to remember, this video is for you. Safe art is comfortable to make and forgettable to look at. Risky art is uncomfortable to make and impossible to ignore. And the artists whose work stays with you, whose pieces you remember years later, are almost always the ones who were willing to be uncomfortable in the making. So how do you actually do it? How do you take creative risks without it feeling reckless or self-indulgent? 3 principles. Principle 1. Risk the personal over the generic. The riskiest thing most artists can do is make work that is unmistakably, specifically about their own experience. Not a landscape, but the specific place that holds grief or joy or memory for you. Not a figure, but the specific person, the specific moment, the specific feeling. Personal specificity is creatively risky because it's exposing, and it's the thing that makes work resonate universally. Principle 2. Risk the style you haven't earned yet. There's a style you admire from a distance, looser, bolder, more minimal, more expressive, that you haven't let yourself try because you don't think you're good enough for it yet. Try it on one piece, not your best piece, not a commission, a dedicated experiment. The risk of looking inexperienced is almost always smaller than the cost of never trying. Principle 3. Risk finishing the uncomfortable piece. Most creative risk happens not in the starting, but in the finishing. It's easy to begin a bold piece and abandon it halfway through when it gets hard or strange. The risk is taking it to completion, past the ugly middle stage, past the point where it stopped looking like what you planned, all the way to done. One practical tool for this: keep a dedicated risk sketchbook. Separate from your main practice, separate from anything you'd show or sell. A private space where the only rule is that every piece has to try something that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Low stakes, high experimentation. The risk sketchbook is where your next creative leap is waiting. Your action step. Name one creative risk you've been avoiding. Not a vague one. A specific piece, style, or subject you've been circling without landing. Write it down, give it a date. The work that scares you a little is usually the work worth making. Start there.